Hey, this is Jason. We're going to look at how to find the area of this regular polygon using this formula. Area equals 1/2 AP, where A is the apothem and P is the perimeter of the base. Okay, so let's go through the whole process. Let's start off with the apothem. The apothem goes from the center of the figure down to the side, forming a right angle. So that's the apothem. Okay, now how do we find that if we only know a side? Well, we're going to use some stuff that we know about central angles and triangles of regular polygons to help us figure that out. So what we're going to do is we're going to draw a triangle. And I'm sorry, my triangle is not super straight, but there it is. There's my triangle. And what I can use is I can use one of the trigonometric ratios to help me find this apothem. But first we have to know the central angle. The central angle will be the number of sides, or 360, divided by the number of sides. 360 divided by 5 is 72. So that means this angle right here is 72 degrees. That whole angle is 72 degrees. But because we're not looking at the whole angle, we're going to use half of that as part of our work. So let's go ahead and put that in. And so this angle right here will be 36 degrees. And so we have a right triangle. We have a 36. We've got a 90 right here. So we need to know this one in order to help us figure out the apothem. It's going to be easier that way. So if I do 180 minus 90, that gives me 90, minus 36, that gives me 54 degrees right here. This just helps me out with my angle, or with my trig ratio that I'm going to use in just a second. And so then we need to know the distance from here to here. Well, here's another thing that we know. We know that this altitude, this apothem, cuts this side in half, since this is a regular pentagon. So if one side is 126.8, I can divide that by 2 to give me 63.4. So this distance right here is 63.4. And so now I'm just going to use my trig ratios. So we've got sine, cosine, and tangent. Sine is the opposite over the hypotenuse. Well, I don't know the hypotenuse. This side right here would be the hypotenuse. I don't know that, so I can't use sine. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Again, I don't know hypotenuse, so I can't use that one. So then I go to tangent. Tangent is the opposite side over the adjacent side. Well, if this is the angle I'm focused on, this angle right here, this is the one I'm focused on, the side opposite that angle is the apothem. The side adjacent to that angle is the 63.4. So there's our ratio. We've got the tangent of our angle, which is 54 degrees, equals the opposite, which is the thing we don't know, over the adjacent, which is 63.4. This is now a one-step equation. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 63.4. And so 63.4 times the tangent of 54 is going to equal the length of the apothem, because these cancel out. Now, how do I calculate that? Well, that's as simple as pulling out your calculator. Now, if you're not using Desmos, I strongly urge you to use Desmos. Desmos is the best calculator for this. And we're just going to type that in just as it's written. So I'm going to type that in 63.4. And there is a button for this, but you can just, I mean, there's a button. It's down at the bottom. I can't, let me make it bigger. So actually, it's back on the main page. There's tangent right there, tangent. Or you can just type TAN. Let me show you that, just so you know that I'm telling you how easy Desmos is. TAN, and then I've got the same thing, got the same function. So there that is, times the tangent of 54. Now, why use Desmos? Desmos is already set up in the mode that you need to have. If you have a graphing calculator, some other calculators, often their standard mode is radian mode. We need degree mode, so you just have to change it. It's not a big deal, but Desmos is already set up, and so you don't have to do a whole lot of changing. So see right there, that's 83.3 is what we're going to use. We're just going to round. So our apothem is 80, I want to say 87.3. And so now I just need the perimeter. Well, this is a five-sided figure, so the perimeter would be 126.8 times 5. And that's going to give me 634. 634. Again, I just used Desmos for all of this. So, all right, so I've got my perimeter, I've got my apothem. Now I can just find my area just by going A equals 1/2 times 634 times 87.3. And actually, I should have these backwards, but it doesn't matter. Multiplication is commutative, so we're good. All right, so now, again, just bring out your calculator right there. Hit enter. We can go 1 divided by 2 times 634 times 87.3. It gives us that big number of 27,641.1. And I think my units in the beginning were feet, so my answer will be feet squared. So that's the full process of how to do this. Follow these steps exactly to solve number 2 in this lesson. And please let me know if you're still struggling with this so I can try to find something else to help you out.